Let's talk about a mistake that, pretty much every single beginner English learner makes. But this isn't just about fixing a little grammar error. Oh no, this is about something way bigger. How do you take something you know inside and out and actually make it simple enough for someone else to understand?
And there it is. I can to speak English. Now, if you're a native speaker, that just sounds off, right? We know it should be I can speak English, but just imagine you're a teacher for a second and a student looks at you and asks, why? Suddenly, explaining that why, well, that's a lot tougher than you'd think.
And that's the big question for us today. If the mistake is so basic, why does trying to explain it feel so complicated? The answer really gets at this huge difference between just knowing something and being able to truly teach it. So first, let's really dig into that gap. It's that classic disconnect, the expert's brain versus the beginner's very real confusion.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the source of all knowledge, right? A super dense grammar guide like Michael Swan's Practical English Usage. It's academic, it's perfect, it's technically correct. And on the other side, you've got a student with a simple, honest question. So, how on earth do you connect those two worlds?
And here's the thing you have to realize. The problem isn't the grammar rule itself. It's not some crazy complex thing. Nope. The real challenge is translating that rule from expert speak into a simple, clear, and memorable lesson for someone who's just starting their journey.
So how do we do it? Well, you need a map. You need a framework. And for that, we're going to look at a totally different kind of source, a production blueprint from the YouTube channel Open English Door. It's designed for one thing, creating super clear, simple lessons.
This blueprint gives us this beautiful 5-step structure. It makes us think not just about the what, but about the how, the learning experience itself. You start with a hook. You give the main lesson. You practice it. You wrap it up with key takeaways. And you're clear about who it's for. This is our road from complex to clear.
Now, what's so powerful about this blueprint is right here. It all starts with knowing your audience. The point isn't to prove you're a grammar genius. The point is empathy. And the real measure of success, it's whether the student feels safe and, most importantly, not confused.
All right, let's put this blueprint to work. We're going to take that dense academic rule from the grammar book, and we're going to rebuild it, piece by piece, into a lesson that actually works.
First things first, we've got to go back to the source. We have to make sure we understand the rule perfectly ourselves. We need to know the what before we can even think about figuring out the how to teach it.
And here it is, straight from the expert. After can and could, we use the infinitive of other verbs without to. Now, if you're a linguist, that makes perfect sense. But if you're a beginner, the infinitive without to? What is that? It's just jargon. It's a wall that stops learning right in its tracks.
So step 2 in our blueprint demands we get rid of that jargon. We have to strip this rule down to its absolute simplest core. We need to use words a beginner will get in a heartbeat. The goal is total clarity, even if we lose a tiny bit of technical detail.
And this, right here, shows the whole transformation. This is the magic. Modal auxiliary verbs? Forget that. Let's call them helper verbs. And the super confusing infinitive without to? That just becomes the base verb or the simple verb. So much friendlier, right? We're not changing the rule, just the words we use to explain it.
And we even define our new simple term. What's a helper verb? Well, it's a special verb that helps the main verb. See, the name itself does the teaching. It just makes sense.
So here it is, our final main teaching. It's simple, it's visual, it's direct. After a helper verb, the next verb is simple, no to. He can swim. She will go. This is a lesson a beginner can see, understand, and use like right away. Okay, but just telling someone the rule isn't enough, right? The blueprint knows that for a lesson to really work, the student has to actually use it. So let's see how the next steps make sure this knowledge actually sticks.
This is where we create a moment of guided practice. We switch from just passively listening to an active challenge. This is what gets the learner's brain fired up and engaged.
Okay, so the student gets to test what they just learned. For number 1, it's she can run fast. For number 2, they will arrive soon. And number 3, I must finish my work. Every correct answer builds confidence and helps lock that pattern into their memory for good.
And finally, we summarize. Think of this key takeaway slide as the cheat sheet. It boils the whole lesson down to the absolute essentials. It's the one thing you want the student to remember if they forget everything else. So let's just zoom out for a second and think about what we've really done here. We haven't invented some new grammar rule, we've just applied a really smart philosophy of how to design a lesson.
This quote from the blueprint really says it all. The way you measure good teaching isn't by how much information you crammed in. Success is defined by the student's experience. It's all about eliminating that feeling of confusion.
When you get right down to it, effective teaching is really an act of design and empathy. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about building the clearest, strongest bridge possible for someone else to get from confusion to understanding.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to chew on. It's a question that goes way beyond just learning a language. What really is the difference between just knowing something for yourself and having the skill, the empathy, and the clarity to actually teach it to somebody else?